Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles! In the last episode, we finally could convince Gina to make us her defense lawyer. And so we're now at Windy Bank's Pawnbrokery to investigate the crime scene and show the notice of defense or whatever it's called to Inspector Gregson. And that's what we are going to do right away without further ado. It's the 16th April, 1:26 p.m. at Windy Bank's Pawnbrokery. Here we are again at the scene of the crime. Now to thrust these representation papers it is, in Gregson's face and see what he makes of them. Hello again, Inspector. Do you have a minute, please?
What is it now? You should go home and get some rest.
Here you are, Grexy. Here are the representation papers. Ah, I didn't even have to present them to him.
Your ladyship!
Oh!
I don't believe it! How the devil did you get that stubborn little ragabash to sign that? I salute you. That is good work, that is.
I can see you've been very busy here as well. How about some tea? It's a special blend designed to relieve fatigue.
Gluck, 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 gluck.
Ah, lovely. Well, let's eat now.
Yes, I hardly feel tired at all. I'm fit as a fiddle, your ladyship.
Would it be alright if we investigate the scene of the crime then?
Do as you please. You know where it happened? Through that yellow door behind the counter.
Yes, the storeroom. That's where I discovered Mr. Windybank and Gina.
Right, well, I'll be getting back to business then.
Will you be investigating in the storeroom as well, Inspector?
If I'm perfectly honest, we need to wrap this up before long. Can't afford to spend too much time on it. But there are so many articles to go through, it's taking forever, even with the lads working around the clock. Which is a problem, cause there's another case the yard needs to investigate urgently.
That must be what Lord Strongheart meant by far more serious matters before.
So what I'm saying is, don't get under my feet, sunshine!
Come then, let us not waste any time. No, we are not going to waste any time. We're going to examine right away. And I'm going to start with a spade here. There's the article ledger here, Mr. Windybank's notes, and... what's this? Looks as though someone has left a little photographic print behind. Oh, look on the back. There's something written. Is there? Oh, show us, Susie, show us. 15th February, 10:30 p.m. Article deposited, 1 gentleman's overcoat. Loan amount paid, £1. Redemption deadline, 15th April, 10:30 p.m. A gentleman's overcoat pawned for £1. Clearly it was a very fine coat. In fact, I think... Yes, this must be the ticket for the overcoat that Ginny redeemed yesterday. And is still wearing, which belonged to Mr. McGilded. I would never have expected the redemption ticket to be handwritten on the back of a photograph, though. It seems Mr. Windybank just used whatever piece of paper he happened to have to hand. Oh, the cute kitty cat. But this photograph of a cat looks very familiar, doesn't it? I'm sure I've seen this exact same picture somewhere else recently. Oh, yes, you're right. Very recently. It's the same as the one Ginny gave us earlier. Of course, I was forgetting that she gave us that print. Well, what are you waiting for there, Mr. Nutwaddle? Get it out! Alright. Let the corks turn. Yes, they are exactly the same. I've got it! These two photographs hide an amazing secret. A secret? What does she mean? You must tell us, Iris, at once. Do you really want to know?
Yes, we need you to tell us you know about this pair of photographs. So we'll have to converse with her, but I want to check out the place first a little bit. So what about these things here? The ledger that's open the counter there really is enormous, isn't it? It must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all these hundreds of items in pawn.
It's too much to think about. Better to sell it all and have a clear head if you ask me.
But clearly Mr. Windybank was very careful when it came to the articles in his care. Okay, so we can't... Oh, but I want to check out the spade here. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a little bit of a conversation. At least I was sure we would. Alright, so let's check out the music box.
That's a music box. Do you have them where you come from, Runa?
Yes, but I've never seen one as large as this in Japan.
Oh well, this will be a treat. Shall we have a listen? What do you think? Isn't it a pretty sound?
It's a beautiful sound, yes, but it's a little hard to enjoy when all the policemen in the room are giving you fierce looks.
Never mind that. If any of them say anything, I'll tell Grexy to have a word.
Iris Wilson, Superintendent of Scotland Yard. Alright. So let's have a look at the hats here.
These shelves are where the pawnbroker puts articles that have been forfeited on display for customers to buy.
Yes, it's a really strange miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy this horse statue, for example?
Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among the junk, you know. Are you alright, Runa?
Oh, it's just, well, it looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole, but when you pick out individual things, you can't help wishing you owned them. Even that horse statue.
That's exactly how the pawnbroker works. They're very clever.
Good to know. So we can't talk to the police people? Policemen in this case? Okay, so there's nothing else here. That means we're gonna turn around here and have a look at these binoculars. I'm fairly sure this contraption was here yesterday as well. Here we are, though I'm not confident I can get it closed again.
Oh yes, that's a folding stereoscope.
Really? This is a stereoscope? Mr. Sholmes showed us a picture yesterday that you were supposed to be able to see in the 3 dimensions. But for that he used the great big contraption over there.
Oh well, that's for use in public houses and places like that. It contains a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. But this little thing is a much simpler design for use at home. There are special shops selling prints you can use in them. I have a little collection myself.
I wonder if I could make money out of these in Japan. It would be keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway. Okay guys, so this must be a reference to Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright, and I mean, it's a stereoscopic view, so this must be a clear indication for the 3DS, and keeping the toilet sparkling clean anyway, that is a running gag in Ace Attorney. Alright, so let's have a look at the stereoscope here. That is the strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. It makes you think. When Mr. Sholmes gleefully showed it us yesterday, we were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen. Nothing else, huh? Okay, but this is important. There's blood on this calendar here. So we're gonna take a look at that for sure. Ah, look here. Oh, there's still a bullet in there. Oh, yes.
Oh yeah? Oh yes, a bullet hole. And I can see the bullet is still lodged in the wall.
Presumably Mr. Windybank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time.
Oh well. Mr. Sholmes likes to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. He's very patriotic like that.
Sorry?
It's all there in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes, sorry, who's Sherlock Holmes meant to be? I have no idea.
You know, isn't that right, Iris? Ah, did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, he doesn't do it often. It is quite dangerous. It is quite a dangerous pastime.
He doesn't do it often? He shouldn't even do it once.
Forget that for now, Runo. Let's examine this bullet.
Yeah, let's examine it. What's that around the bullet hole?
Is it
Blood? A suspicious red stain on the calendar.
Aha! I may well be able to help with that.
What?
There's nothing like the sight of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Runo?
I have a feeling I'm not as bloody-minded as you, Iris.
I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold. There you have it, you see. When it comes to blood, they're all different types.
Yes, what a scientific observation.
So you need this.
Oh no, what is that scary-looking thing?
Helen, I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet. But as soon as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Watch!
Oh, the color of the bloodstain has changed.
There, does it make sense now?
Yes, I think I'm starting to understand.
Good! It works in the principle that different people have different types of blood, you see. Yes, how wonderful! The chemical it fires combines with the blood and makes it change color. So you can identify whose blood it is that you're looking at, in a flash. Oh, what a fabulous invention, Iris. Isn't it, isn't it? I bet Ginny would say it's bleeding great.
So, whose blood are we looking at then?
Well, all the chemical does it turn the blood different colors, so just find someone whose blood turns the same color and you'll know who it belongs to in a flash.
It's more like two flashes really, isn't it?
One flash or two. This could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. We must make a note of it in the court record.
The blood sample has been entered into the court record. Blood samples portfolio. Sample of blood analyzed with a special chemical indicator developed by Mr. Sholmes. Different people's blood turns different colors. Interesting.
Let's keep testing and adding the results of any other blood analysis to the portfolio. As long as I have a reagent left, sure.
Okay, so we need to find green blood. It just seems wrong somehow. We need to find other blood stains, therefore.
Oh, there are all sorts of different colors. There are pretty pinks and purples too, you know. Like I said, everyone's blood is different.
I wonder what color my blood would turn out. Actually, I don't want to know. Yes. That is kind of scary, isn't it? The own blood. Okay, so before we go into the storeroom, we are supposed to talk to Iris, but first of all, I'm gonna present some stuff to her. The way you can identify differences in people's blood like this is amazing. You really are a genius, Iris.
I know, I am. If Hurley and I put our minds to it, we could really shake up Britain's chemists and alchemists. And you could shake up Japan's lawyers and judges, couldn't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, for sure, even if I didn't intend to. Alright, so let's present these.
Poor Jenny, this is all my fault, really. But she'll be alright, won't she? In court tomorrow, I mean.
I'll defend her with everything I've got.
So, she'll be alright, won't she?
Am I that bad at instilling confidence? Okay, so what about the pawnbroker's ticket then? Would you mind if I showed you this, Iris? It's just a boring old... Nah, okay, so... Nah, we had this conversation already because I can skip it, so we are going to skip it. And we are going to finally converse with a pair of photographs. Let's find out what these are all about. So, Iris, about these two photographic prints. The one we found here on Mr. Windybank's counter and the one Gina gave us before. I can't make out any difference. They hold a secret, huh? Although here is a difference. And the cat's leg. And the cat looks a little bit different on here. Okay, what is this amazing secret that you mentioned that's hidden between these two identical prints?
Actually, that's not quite right.
Sorry?
If you look carefully, the two prints aren't the same. Not exactly.
They're not?
Have a little look at them now.
Alright.
Can you see that they're just slightly different from each other?
I think so. It's very subtle though. It is very subtle. So for example, this shade here is a little bit longer than this shade here.
But what's the reason for the subtle differences between the two prints? Oh, well, it's because they're a set, you see.
No, I don't.
This pair of photographs is meant to be used in a stereoscope. Everyone in London is raving about them at the moment.
Ah, stereoscope. Why do I feel as though I've heard that word before recently?
Oh, yes. That's what Mr. Sholm showed us yesterday. You see, there it is, just over there.
Ah, yes, of course. That magical machine that makes pictures look almost real enough to touch.
Ah, well, actually, it's quite possible to see the same depth in pictures even without one of those contraptions.
What? Really?
Do you know how a pair of flat photographic prints can appear to have any depth in the first place? No, I have no idea. Oh, wonderful! Then I'll be able to tell you.
She's over the moon, bless her. She will let her explain though. We really need to carry on investigating the scene.
I, for one, simply have to know.
Okay, so of course we're gonna listen to all the dialogue, how stereotypic prints work. Have you ever considered,
Bruno, how our eyes see depth in the world around us?
Well, I just opened them and it works.
But the reason it works is because we have two eyes.
Two eyes, shocking.
If you try closing just one eye at the time, I think you'll see straight away. What you see with your left eye, and what you see with your right eye are ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye. Yes, the position of objects seems to shift slightly. Exactly, then in your head, your brain uses that shift to estimate depth as it merges the two views into one. That's how we can sense depth in everything we see.
Huh, my brain really is amazing, isn't it? It does so much without telling me.
Ah, I think I see. So the pair of photographs consist of a left eye view and a right eye view. Is that right? Oh, well done, Susie. You're so quick.
So, if you can persuade your brain to merge the two pictures together in your head, you'd be able to see depth in these prints?
Yes, Bruno. You're beginning to understand.
The stereoscope's function is to act as your brain and allow you to do just that?
Yes, but as long as you have two images, two eyes and one brain, you can actually do it yourself without needing a stereoscope at all.
You can? Really? Okay, how to view stereoscopic prints then?
Let's try it. Let's see if you can view the pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. Oh yes, I'm dying to have a go.
So Sato-san really loves this kind of things.
You need to be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. Can you both do that?
cross my eyes. I think I can.
Watch me and see if you can copy. Make your eyes do this. Alright, let me try. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo?
That's so cute.
There, how's that? Wonderful, now it's your turn, Runo. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time.
Not exactly an easy task when two people are staring at you cross-eyed.
Alright, that's enough practice. Now let's try it. Let's try it looking at the prints. Start by staring at one print and slowly crossing your eyes.
Okay, I'm doing it by the way.
You should see two overlapping images like this. You try it now, Runo.
I'm just going to have to give it a try, I suppose. Okay.
Did the print split into two images for you? Now the next step
For me it did, guys, by the way.
is to put the pair of prints side by side like this, and then try it crossing your eyes again.
Oh, it does work.
They form a new single image in the center. Oh yes! Mr. Naruhodo, it works! I can see it in the middle now. It looks so real. Oh, I could look at it all day.
I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt.
Your turn, Runo.
It does actually work. I'm gonna leave it for a second so you can try it, guys. Just cross your eyes until the two images meet in the middle, and it actually seems like an in-depth picture. So 3DS is a scam. You can do it just like that. Okay.
Pretend you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes.
Okay, I already did that. I hope you did too. Because I'm going to skip to the next dialogue.
Keep adjusting the position of your eyes until the two images overlap exactly in the middle.
Like this is it?
There, you managed it! So now you know how stereoscopic images work. Well, I don't know who discovered it, but it really is quite extraordinary. So what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Runo?
They're certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly.
No, some people find it easier than others. But that's why contraptions like this exist, for people who find it tricky. Oh, I recognize that. We saw one over there yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
If I remember correctly, you press this little knob here. Then set the pair of photographs in this stand at the back end.
It's still amazing, even though I know roughly how it works now.
Well, London seems to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of these folding contraptions in lots of households in the capital currently.
But if these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you hate them.
But it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so in any case.
Stereoscopic pictures? I'd never even heard of them until yesterday. We've certainly learned a lot about them, but I wonder if it's knowledge that I'll ever actually need. I bet we are going to.
The second white cat photograph has been entered into the court record. White cat photograph number 2, a photographic depicting a sweet little white cat. I feel as though I have another print just like this one. Alright, so we are going to check that out immediately because on the back of the other one, we want the dialogue, so I can't find anything out of place. But why? So this is the second of the 2 photographic prints of the cat, and it really does look like Vahagai. It looks exactly the same as the first photograph at first glance. I suppose that's what's so compelling. Actually, now we have both pictures. I could have another go at viewing them as a stereoscopic image. So if you want to, guys. So I need to cross my eyes and try to get the 2 cats merged in the middle as one. It's such a hard thing to do. Whoever thought of this is in the first place must have spent a long time staring. Alright, so we know about that now. There's nothing else of interest here, right? Now we can skip it. That means we already had it. Just gonna skip by. Alright, and turn this around and have a look at the back.
Mr. Naruhodo, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here.
I have noticed.
A red smear, you mean?
Yes, it looks like blood, doesn't it? I wonder if Sisuto-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case...
Yes, we need Iris.
We should show this to her before we forget. Alright, pawnbroker's ticket. Code. A redemption ticket issued from the pawnbrokery owned by the victim, Mr. Windybank. There's what looks like a bloody finger mark on it. So that means we are going to present that right away to Iris. And see what the...
Oh, that looks like blood!
What the result of this is. I would say it's from a gloved finger. Almost certainly a glove made of leather.
Well, don't worry, Runa. You can leave the rest to me.
Alright, so this turned violet, which means this is a different blood from a different person. Look at that.
Yes, that's a color we haven't seen before, is it? We simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point.
Well, this particular stain of blood.
Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is?
I don't have an idea, but I'm going to guess, actually. Yes, I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the color turn, but with a little deduction.
That's right, I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well. You're first, Runa. Who do you think it belongs to?
Alright, I believe that this is the blood of... It must be Windybank, right? Yeah, let's go with Windybank.
You think somehow it could be Mr. Windybank's blood?
Well, he would have been the last person to have handled the ticket. Sometimes the simplest answer is the right one.
But Mr. Windybank had no injuries before he was shot, that is. We're trying to work out who the blood came from, so we can rule out anyone who hadn't been bleeding straight away.
Yes, of course.
Perhaps it's not a concept you can really grab unless you've bled before yourself.
Funnily enough, I have accidentally cut myself before, but thanks for the mildly threatening advice, Iris. I have to think this through some more. Who do we know was bleeding at the time? Alright. It might be Gina then? Because we don't know if this is, although... It must be the thrice-fired Mason. Thrice-fired Mason.
You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off there.
Well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course I'd never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice-fired though.
The victim of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. But that will mean that this bloodstain was left on the ticket 2 months ago.
Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Winniebank's yesterday, suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time.
So it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves that night.
Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand.
It certainly does look like a leather-gloved thumbprint, this mark. But we know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time anywhere on his body, from which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason.
Mr. Naruto, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes.
Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope.
Yes, I think you're right, Runo. Very well, let's make a note of this.
The details of the pawnbroker's ticket of the coat have been updated in the court record. Alright, the blood on it has been identified as Mr. Mason's. Interesting. The blood samples portfolio has been updated in the court record. Alright, so let's have a look at the blood samples portfolio. So we don't know anything about this one yet, but we know that this is Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason's blood. Okay then. That means we are finally going to have a look at... Just a second. No, I've investigated thoroughly, but can't find anything out of place. We are going to be thorough. Okay, there's nothing here. That means we can check out the door here.
Behind that door is the storeroom, isn't it? That's what Grexy said.
Yes, and that's where I saw the dreadful scene last night. Through the little window on the door. Mr. Winniebank face down on the floor with Gina beside him.
As the accused's legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruto. We must make a thorough investigation.
Yes, of course. And we will. Behind that door, that's the real scene of the crime.
Don't worry if there are clues in there. I'll find them.
Alright, so that means we can just move there? Yeah, we can. We can just go to Winniebank's storeroom. But I'm really sorry, guys. We are going to do that in the next episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles because we already have reached the half-hour mark. I'm gonna call it quits for this episode. So if you want to see how things unfold in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, you'll have to tune in next time. See you then.